can school leaders create environments where both teaching and learning flourish amid today's complex educational landscape? Well, I absolutely love that question because it's a question that I faced as the assistant principal for magnet curriculum for an underperforming school. Now, in that position, one of my priorities was to rebrand our school's image to attract students from across the district. As I developed our vision, my primary focus was twofold. The first was to provide an exceptional student experience. Next, it was to build trust with the parents so that they would choose our school for their student. In partnership with my magnet lead teacher, we successfully created an award-winning, nationally recognized and certified program. I know you're wondering, how? Well, it started with leadership at all levels, including teachers, administrators, parents, and students. You see, the connection between effective leadership and student success has never been more apparent. Recent research shows that when school leaders focus on creating supportive learning environments and empowering teachers, student achievement rises significantly. So let's explore what this looks like in practice. We're going to start by building trust as a foundation. You see, strong educational leadership begins with trust. Leaders who consistently demonstrate presence in classrooms, engage in meaningful conversations with staff, and follow through on commitments create the foundation for sustainable improvement. When teachers trust their leaders, they're more willing to take instructional risk and implement innovative practices that benefit students. Next, let's talk about data-driven direction. You see, effective leaders use evidence to guide decision-making rather than relying solely on intuition. According to current studies, schools that implement regular data review cycles and adjust practices based on student outcomes see substantial improvements in learning. So this means, first, analyzing student achievement data regularly. Next, monitoring attendance and engagement patterns, followed by tracking and implementation of instructional initiatives. And last but not least, using feedback loops to refine approaches. The next area is creating protective learning spaces. One of the most critical roles of school leaders is defending instructional time. Recent findings indicate that schools lose between 16 to 25% of learning time to various disruptions, with the highest losses occurring in high school. So, what do effective leaders do? Well, first they establish clear protocols for managing eruptions. Next, create master schedules that maximize learning blocks, followed by set boundaries around administrative demands on teachers. And number 4, protect collaborative planning time. Now, so far we've talked about 3 things that we need to do. Let's talk about the 4th one, because developing teacher capacity is critical to student success. Research consistently shows that classroom instruction quality is the single most important school-based factor in student achievement. So what do strong leaders do? Provide targeted professional development, create structures for teacher collaboration, offer regular constructive feedback, and recognize and celebrate effective practices. Now, once you've done all of that, those 4 things, next we need to look at addressing equity gaps, because current studies highlight persistent achievement gaps that require intentional leadership action. Schools making the most progress in closing these gaps share standard leadership practices. The first practice is using data to identify and monitor gap closing strategies. The next practice is ensuring equitable access to advanced learning opportunities. Providing targeted supports for struggling students is the third practice, and building culturally responsive teaching capacity is the fourth practice. So what happens when we pull all of these things together? Well, as a leader, you are creating collective efficacy. You see, when teachers believe in their collective ability to impact student learning, achievement rises dramatically. Leaders build this sense of collective efficacy by celebrating small wins and progress, sharing successful practices across teams, creating opportunities for peer observation, and fostering a growth mindset culture. Now, I know you're wondering, where does technology fit into this, Kim? Well, I'm so glad that you asked, because we're going to talk now about technology integration with purpose. Modern educational leaders must navigate the role of technology thoughtfully. Recent research indicates that effective technology integration requires four main things. The first is clear alignment with instructional goals. Next is ongoing professional development, followed by regular evaluation of impact. And last but not least, strong digital citizenship frameworks. So, to translate these insights into practice, school leaders should do the following things. First, conduct an honest assessment of your current instructional leadership practice. So I want you to ask yourself 3 questions. The first question is, how much time do you spend in classrooms? The second question, what evidence do you collect about teaching and learning? And the third is, how do you support teacher growth? The second thing I want you to do is to establish regular data review cycles. So you want to set clear metrics for success, create structures for team analysis, and plan adjustment points throughout the year. Number 3, protect and optimize instructional time. So audit current interruptions and time usage. Develop clear protocols for managing disruptions, and create sacred spaces for teaching and learning. So I've given you 3 of the 5. Hang in there, because here's number 4. Invest in teacher development. So how do you do that? Survey teachers about their learning needs. Create differentiated growth opportunities, and build strong collaborative teams. Now, number 5. You're going to monitor and address equity. So I want you to analyze data by student groups, identify and eliminate barriers, and provide targeted interventions where needed. Remember, when students are led well, they learn well. Now, this isn't about perfection. It's about continuous improvement through intentional leadership practices focused on what matters most, creating conditions where every student can thrive. By implementing these research-based strategies while remaining responsive to your unique context, you can create the conditions where both teaching and learning flourishes. The impact of your leadership ripples through every classroom, affecting every student's opportunity to succeed.